Welcome to The Warm-Up, a Bailiwick Express podcast giving an insight into the sports action that is on the horizon. Hello, I'm Nick Mann, and this week I've been talking to sailor Andrew Bridgman as he prepares to compete in a World Championships in the coastal town of Sorento in Australia. We look back on his gold medal win in the Island Games and head to what promises to be exhilarating high-speed foiling action in the Waszp. Here at the Guernsey Yacht Club, imagine there's some good memories from being around this area as well, because the base for the Island Games.
Yeah, thanks Nick. The Island Games this summer in Guernsey was an incredible event, probably one of the most incredible events I've ever been to. I've never been to a sailing event with so much support. The whole Guernsey community were behind all the different sports, sailing included, and it was incredible. Great memories from the Island Games here.
And I remember we spoke before the Games, obviously, about the difference in the craft that you'd be using for the Island Games, but can you just explain a bit more about how you adapted to that?
Yeah, so the craft for the Island Games is the laser. So the laser is the most popular boat in the world, one of the cheapest boats, and it's kind of universal. So it's everyone in all the different islands will have the second-hand ones, new ones that they can sail, and so that's why the Island Games is done in that boat. And it's a boat which has also raced the Olympics. So it's a boat I've used to sail quite a long time ago when I was a bit younger. And I was sort of jumping back into it, having not sailed it for about 4 years. Did a couple of weeks of training. So I wasn't really expecting to necessarily be right at the top on day one, but I sort of came together quite nicely, and it was really good how the whole event went.
And were there any particular challenges from that week?
Yeah, there was. The particular challenges were, just a big mix of conditions. You really had to just keep switched on every single day, because every single day was so different.
And in terms of where we're going to now, can you just explain a little bit about what's coming up in December? Yeah,
so I'm moving into a slightly different boat. So this is the high performance foiling dinghy. So it's a new type of racing. This boat's only existed for about 6 or 7 years. And it will probably, if not this exact boat, but a very similar boat, will be in the Olympics in the future. But basically this is foil racing, so the boats go 3 times quicker than the boats we sailed at the Island Games, which makes it very exciting. They're really hard boats to sail, so the whole hull comes out of the water, and then there's no drag, which means you can go super quick.
And take us out on the water. Somebody like me will never get out there, but what's the experience like? What does it feel like racing these craft?
Oh, we should have got you out for the Island Games. I think there were some media opportunities to go out, but no, sailing these boats, it's really difficult. So I started learning how to sail it 4 years ago, and it was like being a baby again, really. The boat is completely different than any other boat I've ever sailed before. Normally you can jump into different types of boats and the basics are very similar, but this boat, it's just an absolute new challenge. Every single manoeuvre, every single little twitch on the controls can just throw you off balance. Then you can go flying 5 metres through the air, plunging into the water, or worse, plunging into a part of the boat, and you get a few injuries learning, and damage the boat as well. But I've managed to get the hang of it now, sort of upskilling. So it's when you kind of get that, and then when you're racing, many boats in really close quarters, going at really high speeds, then that's when it kind of gets very exhilarating.
And just thinking a little bit about the challenges that you're going to face over in Australia, what's it going to be like out there? Yeah,
it's going to be hot, first thing. I think in Melbourne, where we're sailing, you can get mixing conditions. They have kind of a known sort of sea breeze, which can be really windy. If that's coming from the sort of south, it comes over the land, which makes it quite flat, which makes it slightly easier to sail. But I know they have some northeasterlies which come across the bay to 20 miles, and then that can build some big waves. So that can make, especially when these foiling boats, if the foil kind of comes out of the water, then the boat just crashes. So it can be really tricky. So I think we're expecting a mixing conditions, a lot like the Island Games we had in Guernsey, not necessarily the same weather every day like you get in some venues. So that'll be really interesting.
And what's the level of competition going to be like? Do you know who you're up against? Or?
Yeah, I mean the best guys in the world. This is a high performance boat, and people who sail other Olympic classes like to sail this boat as well, and other professional sailors who are full-time sailors in different classes, not necessarily Olympic classes, come and race this boat because it's kind of the cutting edge. And so everyone's going to be at the top of their game, and it's just going to be great to race them.
And you've had some experience in this level of competition already, so take us through a bit of your background.
Yeah, so I used to sail lasers representing Britain until I was about sort of 21, 22. Then I've taken a bit of time out, got a normal job, worked in Guernsey for the last 6 years, and then I bought this new type of boat 4 years ago. I've been learning how to sail it. I've done the UK Nationals. I did my first World Championships in this boat last year, where I was 36th out of about 170, and so this is going into my second World Championships in this boat. But the first 2 years really was just figuring out how to sail it. It's so different to any other boat, and then you kind of start racing it, yeah.
And what are your expectations this time around?
My expectations are to do as good as I can. I'd like to do better than I did last time. I'd like to put, all my effort on the line, and then I can't really be upset about that. But the top group would be good to be kind of racing in among that, and then see where I end up.
And obviously, Ties came on board with some support for this as well. I mean, how important is it to get the support from the business community, the sponsorship, to make this all happen?
Oh, it's so important. Ties, so the International Stock Exchange, they just released their new product, private markets product, which is kind of an innovative product. And I think that quite aligns with the sort of the innovation of this boat, which is, the cutting edge. And they've been incredible. Without sponsors, not just Ties, but other sponsors that help the sporting community in Guernsey, so much of this couldn't happen. And I think it's really good for local sports people to get that sponsorship, and it really helps to bring the community together and helps to give exposure to all the different incredible sports that people are doing. Ties in particular, it would be so hard for me to go out there. I've had to give up my job to train for this, so without that local sponsorship, it would have been really tricky.
And just thinking back and reflecting on the games as well, the Island Games it's obviously such an inspirational thing for so many people. And have you had a sense of that from around here and the youngsters that get involved in sailing as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Sailing's such a varied sport. There's so many different avenues in it, and it's really good fun at the end of the day. It's just great to be outside, especially these days when it's so easy to be stuck on your computer. It's a great, you can't really take your phone with you, so it's a great way to just get out there, and you can be out there for, depending on what you're doing, you can be out there for hours. It's just incredible. It's just such a great sport. And
it's a sense of, as well as with your example, of showing how far you can take these sports as well onto the international stage.
Yeah, no, it's great. We've got some great youngsters in Guernsey. They've got a great programme in the Guernsey Yacht Club. It's bringing through, lots of training, giving people opportunities to go sailing. It's incredible, and it's great to see that some of those people are interested in racing too, and sort of going out there and doing their thing. There's a host of Guernsey sailors who are competing internationally, and they're kind of coming through the ranks, and it's great to see. And
if you were going to sort of sum up your passion for sailing, what is it? What keeps you getting out there and competing and out in the water?
Yeah, to sum it up, it would be speed, racing, the varied nature of no 2 days are the same, and hard work pays off is great to see.
That was the warm-up. Thanks again for listening. Please like and subscribe for more. You can find all our sports news on gsy.bailiwickexpress.com and on all our social channels. Sign up to our daily email to keep up to date on all the work the Express team does.